Hello, Zero Ravens here, and I'm here with, I guess, a quick video, I suppose. Going considering that we have World 16.1 on the horizon. Do believe the date's like about December 6th. That should be pretty nice. And I will say before we get into it, I do apologize. I've been doing a lot with work in college, so it's been a bit rough. But so lack of editing for this video. I'm sorry, but I really want to get this out because World 16.1 might seem pretty cool. So let's see what we got going on. Oh, 5th, I'm sorry, December 5th. Uh, which is interesting because it's nearing the holidays and we will be facing a lot of stuff with, family and whatnot. But if you have time, we'll have a new world coming up. I will try to be there on December 5th. Maybe if I don't have too much time with studies and all that, I could figure it out. But well, I will see. We will see. So let's see. Winter kept us warm, covering Earth in forgetful snow, feeding a little life with dried tubers. Summer surprised us, coming over the starving geese, Gersey, starving geese. You'll have to correct me on that one. With a shower of rain, we stopped in the colonnade and went on in the sunlight into the Hofgarten. I think that's how you say it. And drank coffee and talked for an hour, which is Eliot, T.S. Eliot, The Wasteland. Which I kind of hope to add coffee to the game because we have tea. Like I'm both a tea and a coffee person, so that's all. That's pretty good. But I would love to see some coffee, maybe with an energy restoration boost or something like that. All right, let's see. New World. Oh, a new world. 16.1 without resetting World 16. So that means we're gonna have 16 is gonna be ongoing, and there's gonna be another world 16.1 that will be online next to it. Don't know how that's gonna work, but okay. Uh, let's see here. Post informed me that indeed remains the plan, and we intend to launch World 16.1 on Friday, December 5th, 2025 at 20 UTC. World 16 and 16.1 will then run concurrently until the threads of their fates again unravel. So one issue I will see with that is you still have quite a few people, about 100 people or so, give or take, are still playing World 16. When this new world pops out, I kind of wonder what we will see upon that within Haven and Hearth. Ooh, hold up here. I got non-visitor gates for siege significant wall types. Palisade brick wall have been removed, and all gates in such walls will now be visitor gates. No gates will therefore any longer be visually distinguished with the red flags traditionally indicating a visitor gate, as the distinction will no longer be made. So, real big issue with this because I know I yap and yap and yap a lot with the Palisades and how important they are. One of the main niches for having non-visitor Palisade gates is that when you have visitor gates, if you are in combat, you cannot walk within those walls. So you will be trapped outside, and well, the whole thing is it's more of an advanced thing with it. But normally when you have like visitor gates set up, which I do highly recommend for new players or people coming in, you will want to have like a small, like an airlock consisting of a non-visitor gate. Because if you are in combat or if you are under attack by another player, you can quickly run into that palisade and shut the gate, and you will be safe. But with this, uh, yeah, so if you get caught outside of your walls, if this goes through all the way, unless they change the way the visitor buff works to a degree, like if you can enter it or not, um, my one and main advice for this is to, if you get caught outside in PvP and if you cannot escape them, run away from your base and just accept whatever you have is lost. Uh, because if you run straight to your base, that will tell the player killer that they know where you live, and they will either have like bots set out to attack you or outside your gates. They will make it a habit to camp your gates or the general area that your base is. So that would be my main advice. There is no longer a safety net with the airlock. It's all or nothing. Accept your losses and just run as far away from your base as possible. As that is, and unless they make an exception for that within the visitor gate buff, but until then, uh, yeah, you don't want to let them know exactly where you live. Of course, they can guess and they can still hang around the area, but just please be safe and don't try to run directly to your base once this is in effect. Oh, well, within the new world, because that's going to be a thing that's going to happen. Yeah, never underestimate a dedicated player killer within Haven and Hearth, because they will make it their life's duty to be as toxic as possible. And we don't want that. I want you guys to thrive and survive. Okay, let's see. The gilding system for equipment has been reworked to put to a greater emphasis on clothes as opposed to gildings, seeking effectively to buff the cooler and rarer, more expensive clothes and hopefully reduce the meta of charting the most inexpensive clothes possible. Uh, I mean, yeah, nah. I mean, to be honest, having like a solid explorer setup with the gildings on like Nettle or something is pretty nice to have because you won't lose as much while you're out exploring. But uh, if this is what I think it is, it might be okay. But having like more expensive clothes, like if you're running out with silk or something like that, that would be a detrimental loss and probably weeks of work and effort just gone. So, probably still, depending on how it goes, I'll still probably run out with the good old Nettle or leather armor. You know, this stuff I don't mind losing. Alright, a series of other changes, big and small, will, as usual, be left to the joy of discovery. What are you gonna do? Add mosquitoes that invade your home? Yeah, please don't take that, Debs. Please don't take that. Alright. I'm also still waiting for Lynxes to be tamed and OCO or object controlled objects to be a thing. Come on, let me factorial this. Alright, next line, BTC. The choice on which world to play will be made with the wizard during character's creation. Okay. Do note that significant changes mentioned here made for World 16.1 will not take effect in World 16. That's kind of obvious on that point. But it is kind of cool they are exploring, the devs are now exploring multiple servers or worlds. Uh, that does opens that experience will give them some more room to work with in the future. Because remember, it's just two guys, Jorp and Loftar, pretty cool guys. So this will give them more room to work with. All right. Uncontroversial, controversial content changes may and will take effect on World 16 as well, but the ones mentioned above will specifically apply to World 16.1. It's understandable. You keep the two separate. 16.1 will probably be like experimental, which right here we consider 16.1 as World 16 can remain as a stable main version of the game to be somewhat experimental. This is very, very good. Uh, Instead of just going all in and YOLO like they have been doing in the past, maybe they can do some more work on like the PvP mechanics because if you know me, I have a lot to gripe on about the PvP mechanics. They're just really crap. And I'm not going to beat around the bush about it. If you have any cool experiments you'd like for us to try for great science in World 16.1, feel free to share ideas. Yes, fix rawhide so that it doesn't affect the entire screen. Uh, Maybe if you make it to where if like a mounted person is right on top of you trying to attack you, yeah, take away their pony power and stun them for the full duration. But when you're either half or full of almost a full screen away, brother, come on, why do you take away the entire pony power when I am just trying to survive and run away? Rest in peace, Mimosa the Second. We'll say that. Let's see. Try to work and talk with people. See about the main PvPers, about making it so it's not just non-stop kiting or whoever runs out of water. Because PvPers, they'll walk around with like a full inventory and a belt's worth of water skins, and somebody who's just out exploring, they're most likely only going to have two or three water skins. It's not it's not really a fair PvP system. I will say that, especially when you have people cleaving and absolutely just murdering people without the skill. Because for those that don't know, if you are at a certain so like you're very um, everything can be has been counted down to math. Like they know exactly how much damage they can do to you before they can just use cleave and just one shot murder you. And permadeath, that is a real issue, and I do hope to see that they can fix that. One fix that I can think of, especially for that, because it's really uncool, because to get the murder skill you will need a heavy, heavy, heavy investment of LP. And if people can one shot you within a week or two of the game, that's just not cool. That's not great for the game or healthy for it at all. At least with the mechanics that the devs have implemented. Uh, so fix that. Make it so, at least for one idea, if it is possible within the code, to make it so that if you do not have the murder skill, like make it a flag. And if that flag is not true, then set it to where only the soft HP or soft health points can be damaged. Now, I do understand that it is also a factor, like, I mean, you can still obviously die, because if they constantly knock you down, then you will constantly receive stacking concussions, blunt trauma, all of those nasty, nasty, you know, hard health point damage. So that's enough of that stuff stack ups. Obviously, you're going to, perish. But if they do it that way, at least whoever is there, they have time to. Well, no, because if you get knocked out, you should have you. They do have the auto hearth setting to where when you're first knocked out, you can choose to teleport to your hearth fire. Now after that, if they found out where you're at and they're constantly camping your hearth fire, well, you're eventually going to be killed by concussions and all that nasty stuff. And there's no way around that. But probably more reason why you don't want to leave them straight to your house or your place. But again, sieging is a whole nother mechanic. I know they've been fighting with Snail and trying to get things balanced, but it's going to be really difficult for them. Uh, they need to rework how the PvP mechanics works in general. But yeah, those are just my main issues. Is the rawhide affecting the entire screen, uh, and just basically making sure that you cannot escape a PvP encounter even on horseback, which doesn't make a sense. I can understand using a rawhide as defensively as a Hearth magic, but using it as an attacker while say you're right here and you're over here, they use rawhide and then you're affected, and for some reason all of your horsepower is gone. So your horse is slower than you. Really unfortunate, and they need to fix that. As well as the insta kill cleave. I do know, I think it's Whirlwind is the client. It might be like a alternate version of Whirlwind or something like it, but it is there, and there's also one that will automatically steal or thieve all of the items within your in your inventory the moment you are knocked out, which is unfair and an exploit because there's like a 10-second timer, 5 or 10 second timer that Lothar put in. So the moment that you are down, uh, you're not supposed to be able to be stolen from. It's only after you've been knocked out for some time, which is really unfair and unfortunate. But I know it's just two people and they're dealing with what they can. Okay, so let's carry on here a bit. Development, radio silence. Radio silence is easy for us to choose a variety of reasons. Personal comfort, certain technical dislikes of the communication platforms, lack of meaningful development and communicate. It compounds negatively over time as a mountain of owed replies and missed updates occur. Some things can and should be changed and improved. Some may belong inexorably to our personal equations. So, yeah, as I've said multiple times here and in the past, as well as everywhere that I'm at, if you ask me about Haven and Hearth, this is literally just two dudes making this fantastic game. And I really wish they could find some way to get like a secretary or somebody to take care of their PR, so they can take care of these issues with like the communication platforms. I assume like X or Reddit or something like that. Uh, it is very stressful. I know. I think Laptar is autistic, but he is a very fantastic guy. Uh, but yeah, Laptar, he has to focus specifically on the math. Like you want anything with math, you ask Laptar. Jorb, I think, is busy working deep within the code, while Laptar is working on the math. So they really need like a third wheel or something to help them turn and to work on their social. And maybe if they did that, they would have a lot more players coming in as well. Because I really do not want a Jorb or the brilliant minds of Jorb and Loktar to be strained too much because they're focusing on the game itself. They have jobs in real life because this game doesn't really give them too much of an income. Um, this one's and yeah, and people like Loftar, I mean, this is his calling. Like, I don't know what better thing, what beautiful baby that he could create with his mind other than Haven and Hearth. I know with Jorb and Loptar, it's just very good. Uh, like I have been playing this for about a good couple of years. I think about more, think about almost 2 decades now. I think, uh, uh, but yeah, Jorb and Loptar need all of the respect he can. So please do not be too negative to them. They're doing the best that they can. And but yeah, but for them to fix this though, they do. I really do think they need to find somebody, at least like an intern or somebody who will work for cheap maybe, to handle all of the, all of the communication, all of the PR, because those two geniuses need to work on the game, and they can't do everything by themselves. So I really hope that they find some way to get that to happen. Oh, oof, hold on. Oh, I hate geo reflux. Okay, so if we ever do decide to truly throw in the towel, you will be notified. Our course, however shaky, has never really changed, and we have continued to meet, talk, and build on our regular schedule and have no intention or reason to do otherwise. So, this is one thing that I will say, especially with small indie games like this. They did do an amazing job by turning in work, turning Haven Hearth from like a 2D to a 3D. If you remember the 2D days, do let me know. They were kind of fun, but it was still rather uh, boats and bows. That's all I gotta say. A little overpowered. Uh, let's see. My correct schedule. But yeah, once again, because if something does happen to either Jorb or Loptar, then I can almost guarantee you that this game will fail. Uh, yeah, I don't mean to say it like that. I hope they, for their best, that they keep going. But they really need, if they're starting to get to that point, they really need to find people, hire them on, and let them get used to their mechanics and how they have the code written and everything else. But as I said about Loptar, it might be hard for them to do so. So, I don't know. It's been a really long time, and I hope they're still good. But they want to fix most of this issue. They at least need to hire one person to handle the PR. Kind of for mostly community stuff to keep a lot of interest within the game, as well as to help draw in newer players. I know I'm not the best at that. I'm still trying to learn how to talk and do things myself. I really want new people to start playing, but there's like I'm just not that great at it. But if they could hire a very charismatic person, it could be different. I mean, we could see an expansion, a lot more people in here buying those fancy dancy hats, that swag. You'd already know how old I am by saying that word. At least in anyways. So let's continue. The traditional Christmas dev stream is, for our part, on like Donkey Kong. Like that. I look forward to engaging face to the black void of the interwebs with you all. Should you care to be there, and we can perhaps speak more of these and other matters. I love it because I think is last Christmas they introduced they hinted at the rat dungeon and they showed it a little bit. It was pretty cool. Um, And I am just gonna say egg cartons would be a really good ad. I didn't suggest it at first, but when you're working with like 30 to 40 chicken coops, maybe you can use the barter stands to transport stuff, but still, egg cartons be pretty good. I am fundamentally happy, and there is, for my part, no terrible tragedy or excuse or blah 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 blah. No terrible tragedy to excuse or explain. A wizard is never late. And a heart emoji. Yeah, they are really, really good people here. Uh, let's see here. Our gifts to you. We removed the verification requirements for playing Legacy. Play away, free. TDL. Okay, yeah, that's just showing that they. What is this DDD? The monkey. Man. Here we go. Yeah, while we're at it, let's go ahead and look at some of these posts. Remove speed buffs. I do 100% agree on that. Silk backpack. I'm not too sure because silk is limited in use as it is, and having a silk backpack is really nice. Uh, so yeah. But yeah, having a silk backpack would be really, really good to have. Because the leather one, it only gives you so much. But silk on its own has very limited uses, and it's just not that. It's a very nice thing. I remember I devoted 2 worlds into developing silk, and I just wound up with a wheelbarrow, a forest of mulberries, trees, and yeah, just artistically going through and quality controlling all of these silkworms. I did keep some around though for to trade with other people, but yeah, I love silk. I wish silk had a lot more uses. So shield backpack, I 100% agree on. Metal shield, I also agree on. But also, I wish they would consider making it more so that with sword and shields or something like that, you have greater defense and survivability. But I wish they would give. Hold on 1 second, sorry. Oof. But with two-handed weapons, I do wish they could add more damage or more opening creation with two-handed weapons. They're already slow. Lower, they have a higher cooldown than a sword or an axe or something like that. But yeah, a metal shield would definitely be pretty nice. Yeah. Hopefully they have a couple tiers, maybe like a ca- maybe separate from the cast iron and bronze, and then have another tier of shields with steel or something like that. That would be pretty cool. He really does not like speed buffs. For those of you that are not 200% aware, speed buffs, they're if PvPers they know what they're doing, then they will intentionally tackle those speed buffs and catch up to you really quickly. Or, I mean, it can work vice versa, but either way, the speed buffs create an unfair advantage. So, let's see. Small version of the meter that doesn't notify everyone and falls randomly with high frequency. Then the bigger one in the world giving, I don't know, 5 to 8 meteor pieces and a small change to get star shard of any size. So, for those of you who are not too sure, when a meteor falls, a Hearth magic is unlocked. Where you can direct, it will act like a dowsing rod of sorts. It will locate the meteor and it will direct you to it, at least in a general sense. So that means everyone in the area knows where that meteor is. I mean, it kind of makes sense because it's a big old ball of fire hitting the ground, but in this sense that it is too dangerous for hermits or small groups to go too close to them because large villages, they will fight and they will start wars over this, and it's just not that good. uh, but yeah, I do agree with this. Maybe not 5 to 8 meter pieces, maybe a little less, but I do agree having a maybe like a radius because they already have the world mapped out in blocks. So maybe have like a certain radius of where it shows for these small versions of them. That would be pretty cool. And medium meteor armor and weapons, that'd be pretty cool. I mean, I do love Terraria and I do love some of their stuff, but Haven and Hearth meteor stuff would be pretty cool. Make certain cloths dyeable. Merchant robe, linen. Yeah, I do agree with this. I mean, I don't mind the cool pink and gold swag of the merchant robe, but it does make sense to have them dyeable. I mean, you got mosquitoes and midges in this game, you might as well add some more realism and let us dye our stuff. Because we already have a lot of ores and different things that you could use, like the stones, for example. We could use those, grapes. I think the Romans used those with those snails for dyeing. That'd be pretty cool. You give more uses to the snails too, and other various things in the game. Bring back Palisade Hand Bash as in Legacy, so we have a reason to build brick walls, not only for aesthetic purpose. In a way, people still can hand bash, specifically when they go through and they just focus on nothing but strength, and they get a sledgehammer. The strength is high enough they can still do it, but honestly, I do not agree with this simply because you have people or PKers intentionally exploiting the game, snails, and botting. They just this is not really too viable. I would say this though, maybe make oops, sorry, maybe make brick walls with even more durability, maybe like 2 times the durability. Because for brick walls, you need a lot of brick and a lot of steel. It takes nothing else but steel. And steel itself is a really is one of those resources that is supposed to be for the mid to late game and is really hard to get, and it requires like a constant checkup on it or you lose all progress on the steel smelter. uh, I've seen it within my mining video that I do need to get that reworked when I can, but yeah, I do not agree with that. Simply because the way the siege mechanics work within the game, it's just not feasible, man. Like the way these PKers work and they get their bots together and all their buddies, it's if they bring back Palisade Hand Bash, because well, within like 24 hours or so, they have that drying mechanic. So within those 24 hours, as the HP of the Palisade goes up, as it dries, then it can be hand bashed, and it happens a lot more than you think. So I really don't agree with that, unless they do some serious thinking on the PvP mechanics. I really hate it that it's nothing but kiting and kiting and kiting. It's so boring and it's pointless, unfun. Remove speed buffs. That's a very valid point. Never heard that one. Rework ore and rock quality in deeper levels. It sucks to go dig on -9 and hit quality 40 quartz spot or some other random rock and ore. I do. I very much agree with this because I go in there and You go down to like level 7 or 8 or even 9 mine levels of the mine, and it takes weeks and a lot of resources to get to those levels. You get to those levels and you get nothing but garbage. So yeah, I definitely agree with that. Remove some buffs from credos. For example, extra inventory for killings when complete Potter Credo or a new type of killing that has bigger inventory and burns stuff faster. Uh, I kind of agree with this. Maybe make a killing that maybe like an industrial killing that uses steel or something like that for for that kind of work. Because I do, at least this previous world, I tried to make a lot of glass in the ship in the bottles, and that requires a ton of ash and stuff like that. So I'm definitely for that. If you make a bigger inventory though, could you please make it let's see, horizontal, vertical. Yeah, can you make it one more slot of horizontal, one or two slots, please, so I can put more planks in there. All right, we'll read a couple more. I like this one. I lose XD. That's some pretty good considerations there. Let's see here. My initial reaction is that removing non-visitor gate, thereby removing safe palisades, remember that I said the airlock, will be very bad for easing new players into PvP. PvP is trash inherently, and it's just a horrible function that they really need to improve on. I'm just saying. They functionally acted as safe harbors, which allowed people to more safely engage and disengage on friendly terrain, and let less technically and frankly PvP orientated players participate in PvP. I see very little benefit here other than confusing noobs with two types. I would have strongly preferred simply renaming non-visitor gates to PvP gates, Sally gates, or something else. Sally gates, Sally is one of those old terms. If you ever go and watch those old medieval movies and say, "Tally Sally forth," that means they're going from the gates and they are leaving the gates to to engage with whatever small force that's not a real threat. Uh, but yeah, I like how Robin put that down, Sally Gates. Uh, but yeah, the only reason that I know about Sally is by playing hundreds of hours of Mountain Blade Warband. So uh, may not be the exact definition, but that's from what I understand from Sally. Danger bad guys even danger bad guy gates even. Uh, I'm not sure if Jordan and Lother fully understand the implications of this change. I 100% agree with you, Robin. Uh, you see, I didn't really push forward for the non the airlocks. Like I went heavy on the visitor gates because a lot of new players they probably don't understand how the key mechanic works or how you run in there, you close the door, and you're safe and stuff like that. But yeah, the airlock, removing the airlocks will essentially make, as I said earlier, you will have to run away from your base as far as you can. Uh, because as soon as you step out of your gates, and if they're sitting out there and they engage on you, you cannot go back into your base. The visitor gates will lock you out. Oh, sorry. So yeah, again, another reason to have alts to scout and do all that dangerous work for you. Fix the problem. Let's see. Also remove speed buffs. Uh, I don't know about that, but I do hope they fix that horse issue. Oh, wow. Robin Hood does have a lot to say here. I, okay, that's probably just all going to be speed bumps. We'll read this one next. Uh, since you asked, here's my suggestions. Small tribe proto kingdom that develops into full kingdom. Because kingdoms take too long to come online. As that they do when you have a lot of people around. Uh, Communication, and then you have people saying, "Oh, I did more work than you, and I deserve more than you," and stuff like that. It really kills the vibe because, again, it's a game. We all have our own times that we play, and we do this to unwind and relax a bit. So yeah, that especially with the siege of WB, that I understand that. Kingdoms are beneficial in that they can create local communities in their area chats, and in theory drive some conflict between factions instead of versus noobs. So, in this theory right here, for those who don't know, kingdoms is it spans over a region, like the thingy wall. Where that thingy wall is, until you see like those words show up on screen, like Dunmarsh or Jotunheimer or something like that. Uh, it essentially makes that entire region. It gives that region a world chat. So anybody in that area, hermits or small groups, anybody within that region, they can talk to each other. So that this would be a pretty good. I would say this would be a very positive interaction for them to add because people this game's rough enough already. You're not going to trust everybody you meet, but having kingdoms early on would be pretty nice. Maybe have like a like as you say, a proto kingdom uh without all the kingdom buffs or anything like that. um that maybe could be outdone by a legitimate throne and a throne stone and everything like that. But that would be really nice to have a maybe just have a, a region chat or something, or province, just so people don't feel so lonely while they're playing. It does happen and a lot more than you think. Especially when you go out to the boonies to escape all the toxic people, it's really not that good. But this is a really good idea because I would say for the area chats, because that would be very good for new people. Like, I'm used to how this game works and how it operates. New people would not. And honestly, new people is the main reason why I wanted to start doing more stuff on YouTube. I know I need to do more. We'll get to it. Anyways, Kingdoms could do a better job at incentivizing interaction with randos instead of just playing with your buddies and ignoring noobs. Uh, let's see. We'll read through everything else here before I go through. A proto kingdom called a tribe should be formidable in the first week at any given thing wall. They do not have specific powers and instead are collectively and publicly owned. Jorb. Poor Jorb. And they can be made at any given thingy wall, which receives an offering of an appropriate number of early game resources. That's understandable. Uh, they can be expanded through similar means to a kingdom. Only anyone who has a Hearthfire in the kingdom has the ability to expand, making them somewhat cooperative and inclusive. They offer random buffs instead of ones decided upon by a king. They have random names. They have chat channels like current kingdoms. 5. The first kingdom to win a challenge in the tribal land inherits the entire tribal land, making them somewhat competitive. Jorb. Proper Burgundies establishing property rights by enslaving the work output of the masses. However, a kingdom may only inherit a single tribal land. All other tribal lands must be conquered as normal. Monopoly bad, especially if you land on Boardwalk. You're gonna be crying for a loan. Anyways, expanding a tribal territory should provide abyssal insight to provide personal incentive to those who spend time expanding them, rather than purely a communal bonus. Drop rates of these should be increased in bat caves to make them less rare of a commodity. This should have a secondary effect of making Credos less burdensome in shorter worlds. Yeah, Credos can take a really long time, especially if you get really unlucky on some of the quests that you gotta do. Additionally, what else you think would work well in the system but should be liberally implemented? Oh yeah, clay procure to a coin press which stamps out clay tablets so that clay currency can be used for early game trading would be nice. Personally, I really love my clay, but that would work. Okay, it's gonna be a little bit inclusive here. Also, for real, fuck that removal of non-visitor gates. It's going to be counterproductive to getting more people to participate in PvP, and it's going to consolidate far too much in favor of the established PvP players who already participate in PvP and bought it and have a crap tons of strength, and they're just anyways, and have their running escape skills well polished. I highly suggest an alternative incentivized PvP, which is slightly more egalitarian. It'd be pretty funny if you could force a fight somehow. Literally anything other than spending hours tracking someone for the likelihood that they can just skedaddle away unless they are a noob, then it's a free kill. Okay. Jesus, Robin, this is quite a bit here. Uh, Random buffs, I don't know about that. That would be nice. My main attraction to this whole thing is the area chat. Buffs would be nice, but the area chat for me would be most welcome. Uh, yeah, that makes sense. It's like letting people know that people are living in that province and just chatting with each other. That's pretty cool. Expect tribal land. Yeah, definitely. Again, rawhide, kiting, and the cleave, or the auto cleave, the auto theft, that needs to stop. And everybody's really hating speed buffs, which we have horses. I never really use those, so yeah. Okay. Look, the only thing I don't really like of this one is make PvP more egalitarian. Is because obviously skill and such should be a factor within PvP along with equipment. That's usually how it is. Oh. Uh, but yeah, as it is right now, it is extremely unfair. Because even if you log on every day and you do everything you can to become a good fighter, you're not gonna work. It's just not gonna work, especially against when people like Mighty Sheep and Snail, like either botting out their keisters with hunting, cooking, everything that, or they just have a bunch of people down in their basement with functioning as their own village. Whichever it is, I could probably say that would be the truth. But yeah, when it comes to PvP, no, oh, yeah, especially with the race siege on WB, because within the first month, they already had B12s. B12s require a shit ton of steel and hard leather, as well as some other things, but steel is the main thing. And it completely demoralized the defenders and the militia of WB because they just barely got steel, man. And you got people showing up with expensive B12s, rolling up and taking out people. It's so yeah, slightly more egalitarian. I would say make it more balanced in a sense. I know balanced egalitarian is kind of the same thing, but uh, you know what? Just make it a lot more egalitarian because at the current state of the game, it's absolutely one-sided. Even if you've been playing this game for about a year or two, it's still gonna be one-sided. Not the way that these people play. Uh, so yeah, very solid there, Robin. Uh, any more insights? I'm gonna quickly go through because I don't want this video to carry on too long, as I won't be, as I don't have the time or energy to edit too much. But I do want to see the inside of players, not just the thing. This is stupid. You guys have 1,000 quality pearl necklaces and you want to keep it up. I don't know about that, buddy. Let's see. Plate in World 16. Good counter riposte there, Boshaw. That's exactly what you want to do. If you have a problem with World 16.1, with World 16 keep going, then yeah, just play on World 16.1. That's just how it is, man. Let's see here. Not sure if you understand what they wrote. Okay, Gabber Marquis. I'm not sure you fully understood what they wrote. All gate will be visitor gates now. So sorry. Uh, Palisades have a very good amount of health, and once they are fully dry, uh, you would need to be really high in strength with a good quality sledgehammer or a decent quality sledgehammer. I believe that's 3 times multiplier for destructive force. So yeah, uh, I'm not sure you fully understand why Gabber Marquise, but I've already said it before. I don't want to drag this on too long, but I've already said it. Uh, you need a non-visitor gate, at least one in your base to form an airlock so you can escape uh, any kind of encounter, PvP or PvE. So simply put, you're just screwed if you're engaged in combat outside of your walls. That's all I'm gonna say. Moving on. All right. How do you envision safe palace to work without non-visitor gates? You guys want to fight the same 10 to 30 people who PvP every world only, like true. Within the first couple months, even to almost a whole year, these people are hardcore. They got nothing better to do. They just love ruining people's experience within the game. I'm just saying, it does keep the game fresh. And whenever Snail leaves, it's kind of like it kind of gets stale. Uh, with sheep and them. I'm sure there's some people who push this change to Jordan Lothard, cackling them, cackling to cackling, thinking they were going to get a bunch of extra kills because they lost out on a few people running to save pallies. The reality is that the same people who relied on those safe pallies are gonna simply refuse to even try to fight in future worlds and just be filtered out before they even get a chance to learn. Okay, I can understand that perspective. Like, some people that do try to fight, they're just not going to bother. They're gonna stay in their bases and call it a day. So that is a very good point there. Let's see. You still have safe pallies. They're called snekjas, rowboats. It just requires at least a little bit more effort and planning than running running in and out of a safe valley. Also, Jordan Loftar, since some people actually backed me up, removing speed buffs because speed buffs are an issue. And if you didn't know, speed buffs, they need to be removed. Because, the hell with speed buffs. Completely would be too harsh, but they need a hardcore nerf to duration, speed gain, and increase cooldown, or just remove them entirely. Make them a tool to create a little gap between you and the enemy, not a tool to run out of render distance and port back. And most importantly, make all of them always visible to everyone. That is a good key issue right there. Remove speed buffs in general. It'd be better. So those of you that do not know, you cannot build a palisade wall within, I think it was six or between 6 and 3 tiles of water. Uh, like like there is no exception to that rule. That is the gap. So Snekjas and rowboats, that's not gonna help you any. Sorry, they're Aussie, but I don't know how you build your bases, and I am kind of interested, but for the most part, uh, unless you mean like if you're out and exploring, but if you're at your bases where palisades will be, that this is just kind of air in the wind. Hermit bros, let's litter the seas with their safer rowboats. No, rowboats are not that safe. People can steal out of your rowboats. And Snekjas, they can steal out of that too. So, I love explosive. This is where Jordan Lofter wants to listen to. We're not doing next world. Or not doing next world. Oh my god, Robin. Robin and Isaac, you guys are pretty funny. Uh, can't imagine a mentally ill, obsessive dude affect the game this much. Just because Snail wants to off noobs, he pushed the idea for years on different accounts, and you bought it. Think this is when a newbie dies to a badger because their gates allow passage. It will simply install and never look back. They also, uh, Zuhorat, they also will not. They will also uninstall and never look back when you have an entire village, a city of people get outarmed within the first month of the game. Hundreds of people quit. I'm just saying that's not acceptable. But again, Jordan Loftar, they did try to push Steel back as far as they can, but never underestimate what's this mentally ill, obsessive dude. I don't think Snail is that, but you know what I mean. There is multiple groups of PKers like Mighty Sheep, and they got some Koreans and Chinese and Russian PvPers too, but I haven't encountered them as much. Okay, obviously this will go on for hours. I'm not gonna keep going. Let me just browse through real quickly, I guess. My God. Well, yeah, they're not the listens. I already just said about that. Would this, you know what? I'm just gonna go ahead. All right, let's watch this. Okay, this one's and is for this intern or someone from PR. Keep in the loop. Uh, yeah, because a lot of especially within my dad's business, it's just me and my dad. But we do have a friend, and he has his his sons, his uncle, or yeah, his brothers and his brothers' sons, and they're all working together. So, and his daughter working as like like the secretary of his business, pretty much his personal aide. So this something like that. It's not out of the realm of impossibility. I don't know the life aspect of Jordan Loftar, but if they have like a supporting family member, that would be really positive for them to have because Haven and Hearth has been around so long, and in my opinion, it's a very fantastic game. There's just no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Uh, let's see. Uh, Fix Rawhide, Stop and Cleave. There we go. It's not. I would be aware that not everybody would use that does the client blah 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 cleave kill thing would be using one of those clients, but if you know in depth about HP and how it works, then it is very it is reasonable for someone to not be using one of those clients and still able to murder somebody by doing that. Stop auto theft clients because it is very toxic and it is very bleh. Yeah, I've already talked about that earlier. Consider a different approach to visitor buffs because yeah, without having an airlock, there is no way. It is you just die. That you can't go anywhere. You can't escape. You're just gonna be stuck between a rock and a hard place. So yeah. Also, friendly reminder: please never carry your keys outside of your claim. Don't do that. Don't do that. It's no good. All right, finally, interactive, not a fat fest of kiting, nonstop. Any PvP videos that you see, you know what I'm talking about. It's just nonstop back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, with both parties doing nothing but kiting. They do the kiting because you can still run away from somebody in your openings. They will go down, and you can use think or something like that to get more initiative points, and it's for PvP. It's very not intuitive. Either fix it or get rid of it, in my opinion. But maybe not completely get rid of it because it does keep the game fresh when you got to worry about other people. That's one of the main reasons why I love this game is because of the PvP potential. Not the way that it is, but that it can happen. Uh, yeah, PvP more. I just read that. Keep working on the idea of keeping steel as far back as you can. Again, with WB as the main thing. Yeah, keeping an idea because they had multiple B12s. We'll go ahead and submit this. And we'll go ahead and look up the B12. It's possible that yeah, intern. We're gonna go ahead and hit submit. Nah, not special. All right, let me pull up my phone. Okay, so it requires 12 bars of steel and 2 hardened leather. That is a shit ton of steel, man. Um, like I believe I covered it over briefly with I covered it briefly with my mining video, which I do know I need to work on it. Um, but steel takes hours to complete. And but the B12 or the battle axe or the 12th Bay, it's a very strong weapon, but it's also extremely costly. Let's see here. Uh, it has to burn for 12 hours nonstop. No, no, no. Yeah, the crucible will burn for 12 hours in real time, and it has to be continually lit for 56 hours. If the crucible goes out during this time, or if all the coal is removed from it, the steel making process is reset. So you have to have somebody online within 12 hours to deal with it. To take a wheelbarrow, pick up a coal pile, and dump it in the crucible. And the steel itself is really hard to come by. Uh, I mean, if you find a good iron vein, maybe, but the coal itself and the iron, well, anyways, it's like almost 4 in the morning for me. Uh, anyways, we'll leave it at that. Uh, you guys have a fantastic day, and I do hope to see y'all later. Uh, it's only been about a decade since I joined the forum. I don't know why I was thinking it was two. That's okay. So yeah, you guys have a fantastic day, and y'all, I do hope to see y'all later on. And give me a like, subscribe if you want to see more. I do plan on making more as I can. Of course, I have my own needs stuff to deal with real life, but as soon as I get my college done, I should have a lot more time to do things. So, uh, do hope y'all hang in there, and I hope to see y'all in the next one. Zero Ravens out.